Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Today, I'm going to talk about poltergeists and hauntings and possessions. And I'm going to talk about my own experiences with poltergeists. Before doing so, I want to remind you that possessions and hauntings have existed for thousands of years, since the beginning of time. Because the spirits, they just exist on a plane that we can't understand, that we don't see. And those spirits, also known as demons, also known as entities, also known as angels, they just have powers that humans don't have, or humans have forgot to use. But these entities in the spirit realm, they still remember, they still know, they master these powers. The powers to shapeshift, the powers to haunt someone, or haunt an object, or possess something. Poltergeists is when you have an experience that involves something supernatural happening around you, something paranormal, as in you see something moving on its own, or lights flickering and turning off on their own, or objects moving, or objects disappearing. It could come in any shape or form. Usually it's because the spirit wants your attention. It could be malicious, it could be good, it could be bad. So I'm going to start with my first poltergeist experience, which was terrifying. It was the scariest thing that happened in my life. But it happened for a reason. It happened for me so I can get rid of that fear. Because eventually I did get rid of the fear, and eventually other poltergeists happened and I knew how to handle them properly. It was actually the first time where I saw something paranormal happening around me. And when I say something paranormal, I mean you see it happening live, not vision, not in your dreams, something that you see right there live happening in front of you. This happened many years ago, and I had this object, and it was a wooden vase, and it was a present from the Philippines, and it was specifically to me. So the present was given to me with a good intention, because it was a family member. So I didn't expect anything bad coming from this object. And I thought it's a nice decoration piece, and it was made from wood. And it was solid, it was thick, it has these thick walls, and it was very well constructed in general. And I just put it on the shelf back then in my place. And it just coincided with that place being haunted with many spirits. In that place, I was experiencing a lot of paranormal activities. I used to see shadow entities everywhere. Lights were flickering all the time. In fact, that was the first time when I decided to learn about haunting and how to banish and get rid of spirits, because I was scared. It was in the beginning of my spiritual journey and I didn't know much about what was going on. It just happened and it was very scary. And I remember going to this occult store and getting sage and getting crystals and getting obsidian, my favorite crystal. It was actually one of the first crystals that I ever got. And just trying to figure out what's going on in that place, because that place was very weird. It had a lot of spooky things happening. From just an energy standpoint, I felt that something was off. So as that was happening in that place, I put the vase as a decoration. And one night, I remember it was a Saturday night, I had some work to do. And I was sitting in front of the computer doing work. And the vase, I happened to put it very nearby my workstation. So it was just here. And I was working here and the vase was just here. And out of nowhere, and I think it was around 11:50 p.m., near midnight, out of nowhere, the vase, and I kid you not, exploded. It just did this super loud noise. It just bah! The vase, I kid you not, cracked open in half like this. it just cracked open. The shelf it was on was moving. It was just moving like this. It was just like moving on its own for a while. I was so scared that my knee started shaking. I didn't know what to do because the experience, the shivers I was having all over my body, which I'm gonna get to shortly about the shivers that you get, because the shivers, when you get them, that means something, but they have to be specific. At a certain point, when you feel that there's a spirit or there's a haunting, and then you feel the shivers as you see the object or the space, that means there's a spirit there. My knee was shaking and goosebumps everywhere, and I was frozen for a few minutes. Frozen. I didn't know what to do. I left home. I didn't spend the night there, and I decided to come back in the morning. That's how scared I was. Just to tell you that these experiences happen for a reason. They happen to show you something, to initiate you to something. For me, that was my initiation to poltergeists and possessions. Because the object was new, it was perfectly fine. And it just happened, I happened to place it in the place that was quite haunted. And one detail I mentioned, that place didn't have good spirits, by the way. The spirits were not good. They were malicious. They were trying to cause harm. And I remember when I bought these spiritual tools to cleanse the place, I started saging. And as I started saging, the lights started to flicker hard. They were just flickering like this. And a couple days later is when that vase exploded. I didn't understand what was happening. I was even Googling this stuff. I asked people around, I'm like, is this normal? Maybe the vase was made wrong. Maybe, I know wood tend to expand and it also contracts with seasons, with heat, with cold. Wood tend to change. But to cause an explosion like that, it's very unusual. And the fact that I got scared and I had the shivers, I knew that was a poltergeist. Because if fear was not associated with it, then it would be something just normal, like a table breaking or a chair breaking, or when you break a plate. There's no fear associated with it. You're like, okay, well, the plate broke, I'm just gonna replace it. It's the feeling that comes with it. The feeling that comes with it was intense. It was very intense. But this happened years ago. And it actually, as I mentioned, initiated me to do more research about ghosts, about spirits, about hauntings, about the occult, about how to use sigils to protect yourself, which I'm gonna get to very shortly. The second poltergeist experience I had, that was actually just recently, a couple months ago, when I was doing my trip in the search for Atlantis. And go check my video, In the Search for Atlantis, in North Africa, Atlas Mountains, Morocco. And I stayed in this place in the middle of the Atlas Mountains. It was a hostel. It was very haunted. In the middle of nowhere, there was nothing around. And at nighttime, when I went to bed, what happened is that I started feeling this dense, very, very, very dense static. It's like static. It's like you feel something in the air. But I felt it in my legs, and it was going up and down my legs. It's almost as if someone was rubbing my legs or touching my legs. And the static around both of my legs was going from the feet all the way to the top, like this, up and then down. And then it's going up again, and then it's going down again. And it was going on for about 30 minutes, and I didn't know what was going on, but this time I wasn't scared. I knew the place was haunted. I knew the room was haunted. I knew it had spirits, but I wasn't scared. The fear was not there. I just knew it was a spirit that was trying to get my attention, because spirits know that gifted people like you and me and the watchers, spirits know that you can sense them. They know that you can see them. They know that you can hear them. So they're gonna go to those specific people like you and me, and they're gonna try to get their attention. Because after all, spirits, they want to be acknowledged by you, by humans. They want to be known in this physical reality. So I know the spirit was just wanting my attention. And this, I kid you not, this static was so dense. It was like a field of energy that was around my leg. I've never experienced anything like that in my whole life. It was the first time, and I knew it was a poltergeist. So I used in order to get rid of it, because it wouldn't let me sleep, I decided to use my energy control skill and my healing energy, because it's something I don't talk about a lot, but I have healing energy and I'm a healer as well. But I don't practice it. I'm not a healing practitioner per se, but I can heal if I want to. So I decided to use my healing energy, and I took energy from my palms and I went to the area where the spirit was, because I knew where the spirit was, and I just put my hands there and I tried to calm the energy of the spirit and communicate to it that everything is okay and that I need to sleep and that I need it to stop. I need the spirit to stop right now. Just nicely, very nicely. I wasn't like angry or mad or screaming. I was just being calm and just normal, just like talking to a normal person, while feeding my healing energy to the spirit, because maybe the spirit needed healing, maybe it needed a reassurance, maybe it needed to be told that everything's okay. And that's what I felt doing at the moment. I felt like that's what the spirit needed. And as I did it for about 2 to 3 minutes, that static around me disappeared. It just disappeared, because the spirit, it calmed down and it shifted away. It stayed in the room, but it stopped like annoying me, basically. It stopped wanting my attention, because it realized that I gave it that attention, and then the spirit recognized that I acknowledged them. I acknowledged their presence. So sometimes if you have a poltergeist experience, if objects are disappearing, if objects are moving, if weird things are happening, acknowledge the spirit there, acknowledge them, talk to them, say, I know you're here, but can you please stop, because I need to do my business, because I need to sleep, because I need to do something. I acknowledge you're here. You don't need to show me that you're here. I acknowledge you. The third poltergeist experience that I'm going to share with you is probably the scariest one. Even though the first one was my scariest one, but the third one was quite paranormal in a sense. I don't know why I feel it's the most paranormal, but to me that's how it felt. It felt paranormal because it involved shape-shifting. It involved changing shapes. It's this object that I had at home. It's a mask. And I like masks, just like my beautiful barong mask. And this mask is also haunted, by the way, but the spirit attached to it is such an amazing spirit, and it's protective. However, I got this other mask, and this mask, it's almost like it hypnotized me. I was hypnotized into getting the mask. The way I got the mask was mysterious. I saw it and I just was drawn to it. I was drawn to get it. And I was in this dingy store and the store was like old, it was dirty, it was just full of these... The store was very haunted. And I went inside and the seller had many masks. And it's almost like I didn't pick the mask picked me in the most weird way. I brought it back home. The mask, don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful mask. And I try to put it as a decor in different areas of my home. And I can't find a space for it. I can't find a space for it in the living room. I kid you not, the only place where this mask fits is the mirror of my bedroom. At the corner of the mirror of my bedroom, where that mirror is just in front of where I sleep. The bed is here, I sleep here, and that's the mirror. And that's the only place where the mask wanted to be. It's the only place. The whole experience seemed paranormal, as if the mask knew where I lived and it knew that it's gonna be placed in the mirror and only the mirror. Why? Because mirrors are portals. They're portals to the other world. And the mask wanted to be near the portal because the spirit that was haunting it wanted to access the portal. And since I bought this mask, something weird changed in my place. The energy field changed. Everything became negative. I became more irritated, I didn't feel at peace, because when I'm at home, I'm always at this peace. I have this peace of mind. I'm calm. I can do things peacefully. I can sleep peacefully. Since I got the mask, something changed. I was disturbed. I was having very negative thoughts. I was irritated. Everything would bother me. The slightest things would annoy me. I became like having OCD. I just started becoming obsessed with things not being properly done or cleaned up. I was becoming negative. When I have some thoughts in my head, it's such negative. It's like, oh, this is not gonna work. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do this because it's dangerous. It's just these negative thoughts were haunting me. Even in my sleep, I would wake up in the morning and I feel like I didn't have a good sleep. I feel like I'm not at peace. And especially in the bedroom where the mask was. Every time I would enter the bedroom, I just feel like there's something here that's negative. And then almost 1 week after I got the mask, I realized that it is the mask that was giving me this kind of energy shift. It was haunting my thoughts, because since I brought the mask, that's where everything changed. But the paranormal experience that happened with the mask I haven't even mentioned it yet. When I bought it in the store, it was brown. The color was brown. Okay? And I forgot. When I brought it in the living room and I was playing to see where can I have it placed, the color became red. It was red. And it's okay, here you can say, well, maybe with the lighting, brown and red can seem the same. It's fine. So that also was okay. But I didn't pay attention to these until where I'm coming to. And then a few days later, I wake up one morning and I don't even notice. And then I realize that the mask is actually green. It's not even brown, it's not even red. Well, green is a very different spectrum. Green exists it's far from red. As I realized that the color of the thing changed, my whole body had these shivers from head to toe. Shiver, like, it's like, and that's when I knew this thing is haunted 1000%, and it's actually what's causing me these negative experiences. The shivers, which I mentioned earlier, those are a confirmation. It's like your body alarming you that there's a haunting. It happened to me also, I think last year, where I was living in this place where it was haunted by a spirit of a guy living there. There was a spirit living there. And this was an annoying spirit. It was always bothering me in my sleep and trying to get attention at the same time. And one day in the middle of the night, I woke up to go to the washroom, and then I was just standing in the living room I don't remember what I was doing, in the dark. There was no lights. And I was standing there just normally, and all of a sudden shivers from head to toe. Whoosh. And I knew it was the ghost was again trying to get my attention. It was there. So remember, these shivers, if they happen to you out of nowhere, if you're sitting there and there's nothing going on and you're just minding your own business, and especially at nighttime, they come at nighttime, in the evening, at nighttime, in the middle of the night, and you have these shivers that come out of nowhere, it means a spirit or a ghost or an entity is trying to get your attention, it's trying to haunt you, it's trying to possess you, or it's just trying to say, hello, I'm here, you know? So when I realized, to come back to the mask story, when I realized that the freaking mask changed colors, and even the face was this mask, every time you look at it, it looks different. Every time it looks like it has different emotions, every time. And especially that it was using the portal, which is the mirror, that is game over. It had total control of my thoughts, of my place, especially with the shivers that came to me as I realized that. So I knew it was a form of poltergeist. It was a paranormal experience. It was a form of poltergeist. Why? Because the mask was changing shape, it was changing color, and it was controlling my environment and my thoughts and my energy. Actually, after I bought the mask, I was doing a ritual for myself, and I just realized the coincidence or the synchronicity. Because I had the mask, I almost burned the house. Because the fire, I'm gonna leave that to another episode about rituals. The fire caught in such a weird way with the candles, and there was this explosion of fire. It was a big mess. But I realized later on that the mask had to do with that as well. Because the entity was not good, it was malicious. Another thing that this mask gave me, it gave me a vision, which was kind of dangerous, but I might try it one day. It gave me a sigil, drawn in a certain way, and I knew that sigil was to release the entity from the mask. So basically, let me rephrase it. The entity, through a vision, was trying to get me to do a ritual with a sigil drawing, which is because it's one of my fortes. It's one of my best skills is sigil channeling and sacred geometry. Because these sigils form portals, they can do a lot of things. They can basically make you do anything you want. So it was trying to give me a sigil in my head. I channeled it, I saw it, and it was very freaky. It was not a positive sigil. And the way it was drawn, I even remember how it should be drawn. And I knew that the entity wanted me to draw that sigil in that certain way so it can break free from the mask. And once it breaks free, it's even more dangerous because we don't know what that entity would do. So whoever was haunting that mask, it could be the spirit of the person who made the mask and they're already dead. It could be just an entity, a malicious entity that tried to haunt the mask. There's many reasons how objects end up being haunted. Usually it's attachment. For example, in this lifetime, let's say you live and you're so attached to this candle, and once you pass away, your spirit is so attached to it and it doesn't want to live this realm. It doesn't want to live the physical realm. So it wants something to be attached to. So the spirit transfers from the body to the candle. Which leads me to exorcism. When I exorcise something, when I exorcise a spirit, what you usually have to do is that you have to realize that spirits are energies, so they can be destroyed. They can be only broken. They can be only broken from the object or the person they're haunting. So you have to always transfer a spirit. You have to transfer it from one object to another object, from one person to an animal. That's why Jesus, and many people don't know him as an exorcist, Jesus is a healer and an exorcist. That's why before he was known as the Messiah, he used to exorcise. That's what he was known for. He used to heal people and he used to exorcise them. That's why he was transferring spirits of haunted, possessed people. He used to transfer their entities that was haunting them to pigs, because pigs were considered as dirty animals back then. So he would transfer them from human to animal. And then they would drive those pigs to the waters so they can kill them, so the spirit doesn't find anywhere else to go, and then it dies. It either dies or it transfers to the underworld where it came from, to the spirit realm. So there's a lot of criteria and rules and aspects to this whole possession thing, and why objects are even possessed to begin with. Why are they possessed? Why some humans are possessed? This practice is very ancient. It goes back to ancient Egypt. It goes back to the Temple of Solomon. the Temple of Solomon, which is one of the most beautiful temples in the world that have ever existed. By the way, King Solomon used to control demons, and these demons are the spirits we're talking about, because demons, spirits, haunting, we're talking about the same thing, just people labeled them differently. Back then in ancient times, they used to do these rituals and these offerings to exorcise, to get rid of spirits or to transfer spirits. They would transfer them into goats. The ancient Israelites in Israel, in the Temple of Solomon, they used to do ceremonies. So the priest basically in the Temple of Solomon would transfer the bad spirits into a goat, into an animal. Again, we're talking about transferring spirits from one thing to the other. And then this goat, they would drive it to the wild, somewhere where there's no water or food until it dies. This was an offering done to the demon Azazel. So these practices were happening around the world for thousands of years. It's just a lot of people forgot how to do them and they don't know how to do them anymore. But each one of you have a haunted object in your house, especially if you're obsessed with antique stuff, if you're obsessed with things that have soul. Why objects? Because objects have soul. They are alive. This bowl is alive. It has a soul. Just because it's physical and it's solid doesn't mean it doesn't have a soul. Anything you own has a soul. Your car has a soul. Your vase has a soul. Your decoration pieces, your desk, your clothes. So anything can be haunted because everything has energy. This bowl has energy. This candle has energy. This mask has energy. So spirits, they can live in these objects because they have energies. They can attach to themselves into these objects. The entities that cause poltergeists are more powerful than, for example, you might have a haunted object in your home, but it doesn't do anything. It's just there. But the moment you start having poltergeists, it means these entities are strong. They have more power than other entities. So the most recent experience I've had was this mask, and I had to get rid of it. So I did a ritual, and I used a sigil for this ritual, and I took this mask to a very, very far place where it, to the point where it doesn't remember how it comes back to where I reside. Because spirits, as I said, they're powerful. They can remember, but you have to lure them. Hexagram, sigils, what do? They lure spirits because there's a lot of lines. So if you want to get rid of a spirit, you have to lure them with sigils, such as the hexagram, such as the pentagram, such as a sigil I'm going to show you very shortly that you can use for protection and manifestation, protection from harm, from bad spirits. I'm going to talk more about this in this channel, about how spirits gets lured by lines and they get bothered by sigils, and that's why Solomon was able to control demons using the seal of Solomon that had the hexagram in it. So that's my experience with the poltergeist. But I'm gonna show you the sigil that I channeled from the underworld for protection against bad spirits, and you can also use it for manifestation. I'm gonna show you how to use it, and I'm gonna put it on my store for a very, very, very affordable price for a limited period of time. This is the sigil that I channeled, and I drew it digitally for you. So when you go to my store, thyself.alchemist.com, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below. When you go, this is the sigil that you're gonna get. I printed it for you guys to show you how to use it. You can see there is the hexagram here, which is an amazing tool for protection. But it doesn't mean that if you draw your own sigil that it's gonna work. It has to come from a practitioner. It has to come from a person that knows how to play with energies, that can channel the sigil with its own energies, such as myself. You can try to draw your own sigil, but it might not work. It has also some ancient letters that I channeled from the ancient Anunnaki civilization, and it is used for protection from malicious entities specifically. But you can use this sigil also to manifest anything you desire in life. You can use it to charge your spiritual tools. You can charge your crystals here. You can charge your tarot deck here. You can charge your jewelry as well. And I'm going to show you how to do it. After you get your sigil, you're going to print it on a piece of paper like this. What you're going to do, this line here that I put here, this line that's going from east to west, that crosses every dimension, you're going to write your name on top of the line. Make sure your name is on top here. So I'm going to write my name, Seth. So your name, write it on the top. The energy is going to travel from east to west, and then from north to south, and everything in between. Your name is also inside the hexagram with the ancient Anunnaki writings. And the combination of the energies that I put on the sigil is going to protect your name, which has your energy. It's going to protect you from any malicious entities. You can also add the name of the people you care about around you here. So your name has to be in the middle, and the name of the people you care about, you can add them here or here or here, which forms actually a beautiful trinity here, and you're in the middle. But these people will also be protected if they mean a lot to you. You can also use this sigil in your altar to charge your spiritual tools, to charge your jewelry with positive energy, with energy of manifestation. You can put it under your carpet or under the bed where you sleep, because it's gonna charge good energy into your sleep and protect you from malicious spirits who are trying to possess you or give you sleep paralysis. You can use it also in the kitchen in front of you when you cook. As you're looking at the sigil, you know that what you're cooking is good for you. It's charged with positive energy for your body, so there's no sickness or poisoning that's gonna come to you as you're looking at the sigil. You can also use it as a coaster. Print it, and before you drink your water, your tea or coffee, place it on top of the sigil. And the sigil is gonna make sure that whatever you're drinking is gonna charge your drink with good energy, and most importantly, protect it from any bad entities that are trying to possess your drink, because whatever you're drinking can have energies as well. You can also print the sigil and hang it in your room or in your living room, because it's gonna suck and attract all of the negative energy. It's gonna take it and it's gonna cleanse your space just by having the sigil there. Also, I'm gonna show you how to charge your jewelry. I personally love to wear protective jewelry, and I'm gonna show you how to charge, for example, your rings overnight, because you might be having a long day and your rings have came across a lot of people with bad energies and you want to charge them and protect them. So I'm gonna show you how. You start, I want you to put the ring in the corners of the hexagramic shape, like this. So in each corner you can place a ring. You leave them there overnight, because the energy that I charged in the middle here, that's coming from the underworld, which is attached to your name because your name is gonna be written there, is gonna go to these rings. The energy is going to spread to these rings and it's gonna charge them with positive energy. You can use crystals in the same format. Take your crystals and put them in these corners as well. You can also add the crystals in these ends of east, west, north, and south. If you want to charge your crystals with Earth's energy, because this sigil is also connected to Earth. And I'm gonna show you how to use it for protection from a haunted object you have in your house. I'm gonna show you. Let's say this is one of my other beautiful protective objects that I have with me all the time. It's Garuda. Garuda is an ancient god in Hinduism. I got it from the island of Bali in Indonesia, so Balinesian Hinduism. I love it so much. It's also haunted with a beautiful spirit. But as an example, I'm gonna use it. Let's just imagine this is haunted by a bad spirit and you have something like this in your house. What are you going to do? So again, you use this sigil with your name on it in the middle, and you're going to take the object, even if it's big, even if it's a big object, try to print the sigil bigger and place the object in the middle on top of your name. Place it there. And as you put your object there, I want you to focus and repeat this mantra with a good intention. As the sigil is in front of you with your name on it, with the object on top, I want you to repeat this mantra. You are not invited. 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 I want you to say it 6 times. And after you say it 6 times, I want you to do a big clap. So you say the mantra and then you clap. You do the clap 3 times. So you repeat the mantra 6 times, you are not invited, and then you clap 3 times. And then, after you do that, when you remove the object, the malicious spirit is in the sigil. It's not in the object anymore. It's in the sigil. What you need to do right after that, you need to take the sigil, fold it until it becomes very small. I'm not gonna do it here, but fold it until it becomes tiny, like this small, and burn it right away with using a candle. Burn it using a candle. Take the ashes and throw them in a body of water nearby, a river, or if you live near the ocean, or if you live just something with water. Take the ashes and throw them out there, because that sigil will have the malicious energy in it, and since you burn it and throw it, it goes back to earth, and the spirit goes back to the underworld. Because as I mentioned before, you can't actually kill a spirit, you can only transfer the energy. So the energy gets transferred from the object to the sigil, but the sigil, at that point, you have to get rid of it. You have to burn it and throw it out in the ocean or in a body of water, far from home, if possible. This sigil is available at my store, alchemist.com, for a short period of time, for a very affordable price. Go get it. And if you have any questions, if you've had any possessions, any poltergeists, any haunting, if you've experienced something like this, let me know in the comment section and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.